Dems fanning the flames of anti-ICE hate as lunatics turn rhetoric into reality. A man in tactical gear, assault rifle in hand, opening fire on Border Patrol agents in McAllen, Texas, until local police pumped him full of lead, killing him. This as AOC warns her followers of an ICE explosion in deportations. And Debbie pumps up fears about Trump bleaching America with mass deportations.
More Trump lies, more people being thrown into a dire situation where many of them will ultimately die when they're deported back to countries like Venezuela and Haiti. This is a situation in which they want to bleach America. You heard what Miller said. He is a vile human being.
This from one of Marge Simpson's sisters. If this is, Kellyanne, if this is about the bleaching of America, explain why Hispanics support Trump's immigration policy.
For him.
By the way, isn't bleaching kind of racist?
Yes, it is. And she should look into a little bit.
Didn't Democrats used to say how great it would be to brown America?
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And brown and black America went in high numbers for President Trump, knowing that he was going to do exactly what he's doing, Greg, with respect to the deportations and the border. If you look at, I think the greatest statistic of the last couple of months is just seeing the number of foreign-born workers down and the number of American-born workers up. It tells you beyond deportations that when you have a surround sound policy that people support, this is what happens. And everybody's polling, CNN, ABC, all these media polls, academic polls, they all say the same thing. Majorities of Americans, including Hispanics, support deporting people who are here illegally. And we just did a poll in New Jersey, and the number one reason in New Jersey that the voters say illegal immigration is a problem is because of the depression on resources. They know that it's strapping our law enforcement, our schools, our hospitals, our infrastructure, and people are rising up and saying that. I think this rhetoric is really dangerous, because it should not be an occupational hazard for an ICE agent or a Border Patrol agent to put their life on the line because crazy people in the Congress who live in hermetically sealed packages inflame the passions of folks who think they're going to make a name for themselves. The funding in the big, beautiful bill for ICE is incredible. And it's going to give us 10,000 new agents, Tom Homan says. We've never had anything even close to that. And now that we have zero border crossings, I think you're going to see a lot of good work done.
Dana, of course, this violence that we just saw attacking purely coincidental, just like the Trump's near assassinations were coincidental after calling him Hitler. They should definitely take off their masks.
Exactly. You mean the ICE agents?
Yes.
Right. So but Democrats keep saying that ICE is illegal, secret police, and that they're disappearing our children and their families, then you're going to end up with violence like this. But here's another reason. This is from Axios. The headline is Democrats told to get shot for the anti-Trump resistance. With this reported, some of them have suggested what we really need to do is be willing to get shot when visiting ICE facilities or federal facilities so that they can get attention. Another lawmaker said, our own base is telling us that we're not doing good enough. There needs to be blood to grab the attention of the press and the public. A fourth House Democrats and constituents have told them civility isn't working and to prepare for violence to fight to protect our democracy. I'm quoting Democrats who are saying this. So you would expect violence if this is where they're going. There is another way. I've mentioned it a few times. I mean, President Trump, he will meet with anyone if they're willing to meet in good faith. And let's say that they went in and said, can we have a meeting with you and talk about this? And here's our proposal. Can we work on this? He would take the meeting, but they don't. Instead, they want to go to ICE facilities and get shot.
Because they don't want a solution, Jessica. When you hear what Dana was saying about this, about what these Democrats are saying, can Democrats ever return to mainstream political thinking? There's nobody who agrees with what they're selling here.
Not in those quotes, certainly. And I think that the vast majority of Democrats that you meet on the street and who are in elected office would not be talking like that and wouldn't be setting Teslas on fire or anything. But Dana's right about if people came into Trump's office, the Oval, as they call it, and they said, I want to do a deal on Dreamers. But what you can't account for is the impact of Stephen Miller, who will not allow such a thing to happen, because we saw this. Donald Trump said, I've been hearing from, my friends who work in farming, who work in hotels, leisure, et cetera, and there are a lot of really good people that work for them. And Donald Trump would know that because he had undocumented people working for him in some of his hotels. And then Stephen Miller got involved and he said, actually, no, we can't have any exemptions for anyone. This is mass deportation no matter what. And a lot of these people, Black and brown Americans, on the immigration issue certainly supported Donald Trump, but his approval rating on those issues has been going down steadily since they've seen what this is. Quinnipiac, 41% approval, 57% disapproval, only 39% approval on deportations. And what they're hearing is that stories of how people are being picked up from things like immigration court, Home Depots. There was a story about a San Antonio area ICE detention center, a huge spike in 911 calls from people who have been detained there, reporting increased suicide attempts and sexual abuse. What is going on with this immigration policy is not what people showed up on November 5th for. I know there are some folks out there are pictures of those grannies that had those signs that says mass deportation now.
What about you bring up something as charged as sexual abuse?
Yeah.
Who is causing the sexual abuse? Is it the people that run the running the detention center
people
are
who
raping
are-
the detainees?
You've never heard of that happening, or they're
So that's
abusing
no,
them?
because I want to be clear that that's what you're alluding
That's
to.
what the report
So
said.
people that are running the detainee center are sexually abusing.
I don't have video of what was happening. I just know that they are seeing an increased amount of 911 calls
Jessica,
saying that
Joe
people are...
Biden ran the largest sex trafficking operation in world history when
I'm
he
sorry,
let
what?
12 million people pour in and then lost hundreds
Are we
of
gonna do
thousands of
Pizzagate
kids.
next?
Okay, and all the polls you're setting were
What?
dead wrong on the election. That poll had Kamala beating
You
Trump.
know that-
Donald
that's
Trump
not
was
true.
shot in the head. You guys firebomb cars, you riot. Now you're shooting at Border Patrol agents. And Dana's exactly right. This is the strategy. The base wants blood. And after January 6th, you guys hailed these people protecting the Capitol borders as heroes. But now the people protecting our borders are somehow Nazis? You call them Gestapo? Jessica, and then people take shots at them and you act like it's happening in a vacuum? Half of the ICE agents and Border Patrol people are Hispanic. You're basically calling Hispanic lawmen bad hombres and saying they're cowards for wearing masks. They're wearing masks because people are shooting at them.
All right. I'm going to look into that stuff that you mentioned because I didn't hear that there were, now we're talking about our own agents apparently sexually abusing people in custody. Ahead, Trump dumps on Elon's third-party plan.
Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.